What's going on, guys? Waco from Revolution, and welcome to the 2023 Revolution Awards. I'm joined by my companions in Geneva, Eleonor and Justine Dupont. How are you guys?
Ready to roll. Everything's good.
Here, Omar Trabusi, our Middle East correspondent, and Constant Kwong, and we're here to celebrate the greatest achievements of 2023 for this watch year. Now, we can all agree that 2023 has been a topsy-turvy year. The market is not the same in the last 2 years of incredible jubilation. We've had a market correction for secondary prices. We've had a delay of only watch, but it's time for some good news and it's time for some celebration. It's time to uplift the entire watch collecting world by honoring and respecting the people that did the most incredible things this year. So guys, let's start with the Rising Star Award. So the Rising Star is given to the individual in the watch industry that has shown the most incredible promise. But of course, it would not be correct for us to open this envelope when we have such beautiful women on the other side of the world. So we're going to pass the envelope to you guys in Geneva.
Thank you so much, Wayne. So for this year's Revolution Award, going to the Rising Star is Simon Brett.
Simon Brett!
Well deserved from Simon Brett, right? He did something very humanitarian, came with his own product and his own brand during COVID. And the way he put it forward is he worked with artisans who were out of a job. So people were at home, not doing anything. And he came up with this brilliant concept. I'm gonna give you a job, let's work together. And nonetheless, he came up with a beautiful, exquisite, aesthetically pleasing and mechanically pleasing watch.
Yeah, you know, the thing that's great about this is he's actually celebrating the 14 artisans that are helping him create this watch. And I think that this is not just a watch, but it's a cultural movement, you know? And when you put that watch on your wrist, it just makes me feel great because he's taking the spotlight and shining on these people who are normally completely obscured from like the view of watch collectors.
Absolutely.
In fact, when he gave the watches to the collectors for the first series of watches, he actually invited the 14 artisans. And then the collectors then gave a custom-made watch apron to each of those artisans as a sign of respect for the craft that they have put into that incredible watch. And on top of that, that watch is just incredibly unbelievable.
I'm so happy for you, Simon. Bravo, well deserved. As a debut watch, it's truly impressive. It's technical, aesthetic, and modern. So what do you think, Ele?
Well, I think you've summing all up also with the Singapore team, but I must admit that as a French watchmaker starting in this complicated watch industry, just the work on the dial is impressive and makes your watch a true piece of art.
I just want to say one last thing, that I am using my prophetic powers. I feel that in the next couple of days during the GPHG that Simon Brett will win the best men's watch category for the Chronograph Artisan.
Yeah,
right? I think so. So if it happens, you heard it here first. Okay, let's move on to the next category, and the next category is the Technical Achievement category.
Wow.
So before we get started in this award, I want to talk about one thing, and that is that we have included all the watches that were created for Only Watch in our best as potential prize winners. Why? Because the watch industry puts so much effort and so much energy and so much creativity into Only Watch, and usually, just like concept cars, you will see parts of those watches or the watch's entirety eventually come into the production pieces as well. But we have to acknowledge the incredible work that was done at Only Watch, and this prize goes to the Only Watch watch. It is the Furlan Mari, Julien Texier, and Dominique Renault secular perpetual calendar, a watch that only corrects for the 4-year cycle of leap years, removes it in the 100 years when it doesn't exist, and puts it back in every other 400 years. That's crazy, dude.
Absolutely. And the fact that they make it simple, because usually a secular calendar takes around 200 components, and they manage to do it only in 25. Which also makes that the price is very accessible. So can you imagine Furlan Mari, a secular calendar for an accessible price?
Yeah, so the incredible thing about this watch is that there are actual plans to produce a production version of it. And the target price is around 20,000 or even under in terms of Swiss francs, which is mind-blowing as a value proposition. It opens up a whole new world for affordable high competition.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool.
Is it really necessary to have the alarm? The next award is the Design Award, and we're going to again pass it over to our colleagues in Switzerland. There you go, grab it.
Thank you, Wayne.
And the winner is?
The Tank Normal in Platinum.
Oh my God, Cartier's Tank Normal. That is an
a phenomenal watch.
Incredible watch.
It really is a Cartier with all these tanks, the Tank Normal, the Tank LC, the Tank European, the Tank Française, and the Tank American. So really, like, hats off, because hats off. because it truly is a tonk year for Cartier, and it's a well-deserved award because platinum has not been a very, very popular material used, which makes it even more rarer.
What is incredible to me about this watch, it was originally created in 1917, commercialized for the first time in 1919, and can you imagine more than 100 years later, in its basic, like pure incarnation, it is still as relevant, as dynamic, and as cool as it was over a century ago. And that is the power of Cartier's designs. Would you guys agree?
I'm a big fan of Cartier designs, you know. They're so timeless. They are just relevant throughout ages, you know, even until today, 100 years.
Plus, like everyone I know who really loves watches and who's like very, very like tasteful has actually purchased one of these.
Yes.
Including Aure Montanari,
of course.
you know, and including Justine's boyfriend, Sacha Donnelly.
Yes, exactly. But actually, he doesn't the only one to own a tank.
Many of us do.
So whether it's in platinum or whether it's in yellow gold or whether it's even on the version on the strap, the watch is just absolutely brilliant. It's a significant demonstration that if Patek is the king of complications, Rolex is the king of sports, Cartier is the king of elegance. Unrivaled, irrefutable king of elegance. And my favorite version is the platinum version, but I would say that all of them are beautiful.
The award for the best tourbillon goes to Jacob & Co. with the Astronomia Revolution 4th Dimension for Only Watch.
By Concepto. And what's very interesting about this tourbillon is obviously by now everybody knows that Jacob has been making extraordinary pieces of jewelry, but also watches when it comes to high complication. The fact that they've been working with Concepto on this piece is actually a world premiere for the first 4-axis tourbillon. Needless to add that when you look at the dial, which is kind of what I'm currently wearing, you've got 35 slabs, which are the hand-cut colored gemstones that have been faceted and cut precisely to fit dial, up of which you have the 4-axis plus the tourbillon and everything that makes this Astronomia tourbillon an amazing watch.
So the next prize is the Chronograph prize, and the winner is, this time we will announce it, you know.
From Peterman
Bedat.
Yay!
So it is the 2941 split-second chronograph, a watch of incredible beauty. I love the fact that they followed up their watch with dead seconds mechanism with this incredible split-second chronograph. But what's really cool about the architecture of this watch... Okay. There's some popcorn.
Okay, let
water gun. No, don't squirt the camera. So the really incredible thing about Peterman Bedat's split-second chronograph is that they completely reconstructed the architecture of the movement to give you even more dial-side visual dynamics. Usually a split-second chronograph is built on top of the existing chronograph movement on the back of the watch, but here they took the entire split-second chronograph train and they put it on the front so you can actually view the action from the front of the watch.
Oh, it's amazing.
Now, but on top of that, it is, in terms of finishing, one of the most spectacular watches of all time. Would you guys agree?
What I love is that these are two young, talented watchmakers that are making way, and they are up there in the big league.
Yeah, you know, I think that's so wonderful to see that there's this next generation of watchmakers
100%.
that have such original voices. I kind of feel as if their leader, the equivalent of their F.P.Journe is Recep Rezepi.
Yes.
You know, so Recep, we love you, dude, as well.
Absolutely.
But all these guys, including Peterman Bedat, are such great, unique voices with so much like ambition to achieve like greatness.
And a very clear identity.
And a very clear, distinct identity for each of them. So, well done,
Well
guys.
deserved, guys. Congratulations.
The next prize is for the very important sports chic category, usually an integrated bracelet watch. And the winner is, gentlemen?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Is that Louis Vuitton tambour?
Yes. Congratulations, Louis Vuitton.
And I have to say that this watch is extraordinary in that it would have been very easy to create an all-new integrated bracelet reference that had nothing to do with the past, right? But this watch created by Jean Arnaud and his team actually plays incredible deference to the past, including keeping the tambour shape, you know, the sort of inverted drum shape where you have a 40mm base but a 39mm bezel, but interestingly keeping all of the codes of the old Vuitton watch, including the Louis Vuitton signature.
Yes, that's
but
really
now it's been
beautiful,
made so minuscule,
that's really great.
it's almost a hidden signature on the watch. The proportions of the watch are amazing. It's a great movement created by Sector Oliger, Mr. Alain Chizard. And the watch on the wrist is spectacular because there's no lugs.
Absolutely, I agree. Part of the sports integrated steel watches, it has to be comfortable. And when you put the watch on your wrist, you understand the comfort of the design.
Yes.
I was very surprised actually when I first put the tambour on my wrist. I was like, oh, wow, because I love the Bulgari Octo Finissimos, you know? The tambour is just another kind of, it's integrated, it has a similar language, but the balance is amazing on the wrist.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And actually, the bracelet design is brilliant as well. And what I love about integrated bracelet watches is when you turn it over like this, do you get as much like kind of cool factor from the bracelet as you get from the watch in the front?
100%,
It definitely does.
Yeah.
And I think the most impressive thing about this is Jean Arnaud and his team created an all-original integrated bracelet sport chic watch, but without any sort of particular type of bezel, right? Because most of the watches in that category are using kind of an octagonal bezel or kind of a bezel with screws in it or something like that, which is invariably sort of a reference to Gerald Genta from the 1970s, or in fact, if you want to go all the way back to 1904, the Louis Chartier Santos Dumont, exactly, right? But this watch doesn't have any of those references. It is boldly modern, moves the story forward in such a cool way, and it's amazing on the wrist. So bravo, Louis Vuitton.
Congratulations.
So the next category is best concept. It could be anything that provokes our thoughts, that makes us think differently, that really brings a new energy to the watch industry. And the winner of the best concept prize is...
Oh wow, I love this brand. Congratulations, Bulgari. Yeah. Right.
Another credit to the Only Watch creation,
Yes.
just to go and see that watches are created out of passion, out of love, no matter what, and we have to give them credit.
So I love the Octo Finissimos, but this particular piece is such a marvelous piece. I call it the marvelous marble.
Marvelous.
It's
Makes you lose your marbles.
Yeah, make me lose a little bit of my marbles. So it's using a titanium base. It's an Octo Finissimo tourbillon, manual winding, really thin. But they actually thin out the watch a little bit, and then they added marble on it, which is phenomenal. Just look at that watch, man. The green marble. Oh my god, it's so amazing.
So what's really cool about this watch is it borrows from a technique that was used in ancient architecture, right? Which is Roman, actually. Right? So it's again a wonderful connection with the roots of the brand as well. So if you go to Rome and you look at cupolas of like churches or basilicas that have marble on them, it's not a solid piece of marble. It is marble that has been sintered onto there, and they've created a similar technique to be able to sinter marble onto the surface of titanium, which is incredible. But think about it from this perspective. Then they have to finish each piece by hand, and then make sure that they all like align in terms of fit, which is an insane amount of work, right? This is a watch that, like, Antoine Pin was explaining to me, like, they could only make one piece because it almost drove them crazy to be able to execute this. But it goes to show you there's no limits in terms of the imagination of a brand like Bulgari. So big chapeau to Jean-Christophe Babin, Antoine Pin, Fabrizio Buonamassa,
of course.
who is our design genius, exactly, capo de tutti capi, and of course, Catherine Herbel.
All right. Congratulations, Bulgari, Bulgari team. All right, great. This is a well-deserved win.
And the next prize goes to Best Collaboration.
Okay.
So,
that's interesting.
I'm going to give this envelope to Omar. Omar, take it away, sir.
I have to do the honors. Oh my god. It's the Pandemonium!
Wow,
It's the collaboration between Max Busser from MBNF and Edward and Bertrand Milan from H. Moser & Co. And I believe coming together, creating something has to represent both identities. And you can clearly see from the streamliner that the case, the design of the dial is 100% Moser, also without any names, which is very significant. And then the flying balance wheel is 100% MBNF. All this, and we didn't say that this is a minute repeater, which is one of the most complicated watches to be able to execute. Everything has been taken into consideration, the depth of the case, the gongs, the hammers, the coils, just to give you an acoustic brilliant.
What I love about this watch is it reconnects us with our childhood, which is I think what Max is so good at as well. And it's the third time that the Panda has appeared in one of his watches. The first time the Panda appeared was for a watch for Only Watch, and he wanted to put a Panda in there, like a Panda that was flying, right? Because he recognized that this charity, and regardless of what's going on with Only Watch, let us take a moment to appreciate that charity is always good, and anything that helps children is something that we should always support, right? And he said that, okay, when children are in a difficult situation, when they dream of flying, right? And he wanted to use this Panda as an emblem of a child that's dreaming as well, which is so beautiful. Now he's brought the Panda back, and now it's a Panda DJ, which is so cool.
Crazy.
And that's also to signify that this watch is in fact a musical watch, which is a minute repeater. So Max, Bertrand, and Edward, we love this watch. Pandemonium is awesome. It's an awesome name. Pandemonium also inspired the best gift during Geneva Watch Days. Justine, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it was really amazing and funny. During the Geneva Watch Days, MBNF gave us some tattoos, and everybody in the watch industry got tattoo. Actually, I had some made for Sasha's birthday.
And here is a quick video of one of Sasha's friends putting his face on his naked ass.
Oh my god, I saw that.
And we're back. If you blink, you may have missed it. You may not want to go back.
Well, if somebody got it up his ass, I got it up my boob.
Okay, next is the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Hey, wow, that's a huge one.
And it is for, it is for the Muhammad Ali, the heavyweight champion of independent watchmaking of the moment, and probably for the next 100 years. And it is F.P.Journe.
Wow.
F.P.Journe, we applaud you, sir. It's funny because, and I put this in my article when you guys read this, like, if you love classical music, you know, you have to respect Beethoven, you have to respect Mozart, right? But every once in a while, you get someone like a Stravinsky who comes along, and Stravinsky will change everything. And in the world of independent watchmaking, that is F.P.Journe. This guy has achieved the greatest amount of like historical technical palm hours in his lifetime, and he's only kind of like hitting his prime right now as well. First watch with the phenomenon of resonance. First tourbillon with the remontoir d'égalité. First tourbillon remontoir d'égalité with dead seconds mechanism. First completely idiot-proof like grand and petit sonnery. Per minute repeater, the world's thinnest at the time, using one banana-shaped gong. The astronomic, I mean, even innovated in quartz watches, the elegant, which has now become like, you know, a huge watch for both men and women. Right? And of course, let's not forget like something as beautiful as the vagabondage. To me, he creates something that he creates the Chronomètre Optimum, which is to me one of the most singular, most beautiful watches of all time, and it's a watch today that if I had a dream watch, that's it, right? Remontoir d'égalité combined with Breguet's natural escapement. I mean, he is the capo de tutti capi when it comes to
also innovative using materials. He's one of the few who started with aluminium. Who
Yes.
would have thought?
Yes.
Aluminium on his
Absolutely.
key. Yep.
Then on top of that, I love the fact that F.P.Journe is not motivated in all by money, right? I mean, the guy is so successful now. He lives in a normal apartment in Geneva. He walks to his office every day. He works and he gets his pleasure from working. And his greatest like other pleasure that he gets is going home and cooking dinner for his mom.
And because François Paul is excellent at everything that he does, he just opened a restaurant in Geneva located 49 Rue du Rhône for those who speak English. So next time you visit Geneva, stop by the boutique and then go grab lunch.
It's delicious.
So for being an incredible watchmaker, probably the greatest living watchmaker of our era, and also being a great human being, F.P.Journe, we love you. And I know you're gonna get pissed at this because when you receive it, you'll be like, well, I mean, I'm not dead yet. But the point is, we know you have so much more to accomplish, but already what you've done is amazing. And congratulations on being the first living watchmaker of all time to have a single thematic auction dedicated to your work. Christie's auction this year, so bravo.
Bravo.
This deserves a standing ovation.
Yeah, standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
The next category is CEO of the Year, and the winner is
Antonio Calce from Global
Congratulations.
Force.
Antonio Calce of Revo Awards. Well done.
Fantastic.
You know, he has done such a remarkable job in terms of transforming the entire perception of what a Grupo Force was. Like Grupo Force to me in the past was technically brilliant watches that were essentially unwearable because they were so massive, they were so heavy, they felt like a rock on a rubber band.
So big, my God, I can't, I can't fathom it.
But he's made them incredibly cool, incredibly relevant, dynamic, and wearable and ergonomic. And to, as you were saying, to take a watch like a double Balancier and then to actually be able to diminish the size of the movement for it to be able to become in a slimmer and smaller and more ergonomic case, that's a huge amount of work.
Yes, and it's not easy to do. This is something that most brands don't do, you know, and it's just insane. Like, you must understand, Grupo Force double Balancier movement is highly, highly technical, as everybody knows how GF, Grupo Force movements are. But to make it smaller and fit such a small and contemporary case is the amount of R&D that goes behind it, I cannot imagine.
Well, on the subject of R&D, which is incredible, is Grupo Force until he joined used to have 100 people. Now it's got 140. The new people, the 40 people, are all belonging to either the hand finishing or the R&D department.
Okay.
And Antonio Calce has set himself the sort of internal challenge to completely change his movements every 5 years, which is totally different from what exists in the watch industry now. The majority of brands will hit something that they're good at and that they like, and they'll just make it forever, right? They'll just use that as their legacy watch forever. Grupo Force, as being led by Antonio Calce, wants to constantly push themselves to create something better, and I super, super respect that. I mean, I think it's no mystery that next year he's coming with a tourbillon foudroyant at a 38.5 mm in diameter size, and the foudroyant indicators on the freaking tourbillon cage, bro. That's insane. I mean,
I can't wait, my God.
And talk about just the achievements for this year. Talk about not only the innovations, not about diminishing the size of the Balancier S and the double Balancier, but also creating the Cardan, which is a tourbillon that follows a completely different elliptical pathway as well. He's creating also the museum piece, which is a watch that will bring hand finishing to another level altogether, and also the most accessibly priced watch that Gribble has ever created as well. And all of this stuff in 1 year. So for all those reasons, for transforming the way we think about Gribble Forte, for creating an incredible future for the brand, Antonio Calce, you are CEO of the year.
Well deserved. Congratulations, Antonio.
The next prize is one of the most hotly anticipated from the team, and actually something that we talked about so much, and it is Revolution's Person of the Year. And I'm going to pass this to our colleagues in Switzerland to read off. Eleonor Picciotto, here you go.
Thank you, Wei. So for the Revo Award with the revolutionary prize of this year goes to
Wow.
Jean Arnaud, and I had to say it in French because he's my French buddy. But jokes aside, Jean Arnaud has been, in the last year, launched the LV Watch Prize. He's revamped and put up to date Gérald Jantat and Daniel Roth. He's also celebrated the tambour in launching what will become the next 20 years at Louis Vuitton watchmaking. But also, he's done an amazing collaboration with Recep, who's the cool kid down the block when it comes to independent watchmaking. In other words, he's probably one of the youngest because he's 24, maybe just turned 25. And a lot of people thought, maybe he's too young to understand and know everything about this industry and what that industry has to offer. Yet, we give him this award and it's very well deserved, sir.
So Eleanor, I think you make some amazing points there. Like honestly, when we had this conversation, the first thing I said to everyone was like, guys, I want you to think of reasons not to give this prize to Jean Arnaud because he's too young, he's 24 years old. He's only been in the industry for just a couple of years. Like, is it really right to give him this award? But then the fact that he, with one watch, the tambour, has completely changed the perception of Louis Vuitton's watches from something that were an accessory from a fashion brand to a genuinely great integrated bracelet watch, so much so that it won our Best Sports Chic prize for the year. Then on top of that, has taken a position to champion independent watchmaking in such an incredible way with his first collaboration this year with the amazing Recep Redzepi, and also to create the Vuitton Prize to identify the next generation of emerging talent and help them to attain the next level in their career. I mean, all these things together are incredible, right? So for that, and Jean, I have to say, honestly, I tried to be the devil's advocate. I tried to see if we could find reasons not to give you the prize, but in the end, it was irrefutable. So bravo.
Bravo.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to part one of the 2023 Revolution Awards. Stay tuned, part two will be forthcoming. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for tuning in. We love you guys, and we love reporting about watches for you. Peace.
See you guys. It's so weird. We do this and then we do this. You can just do a fade out after that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna add all of this.